Hi, my name is Emily and welcome to Sweet Cake Patterns. In today's video, I wanted to show you how to make this super fun Crochet Granny Stitch. Now this is a super easy, quick pattern. This is just the Granny Stitch, basically on repeat. You just, it's a simple 2-row repeat and it is extremely addicting, and I honestly, once I get started, I just can't stop crocheting it. And then I wanted to also show you in this video how to make the edges super straight on your Granny Stitch. So as you can see, this one is super straight compared to this one, which is not super straight at all. There, hopefully you guys can see that. But I wanted to show you how to make the super straight edge so that you can easily add edging or whatever you want to, but just make it look really nice and beautiful. And so let's get started making this Granny Stitch together. So the yarn that you'll need today is Premier Basics worsted in the color light mauve. This is just a worsted weight yarn that I'm using, but if you're using a different weight yarn to make this Granny Stitch, then you'll just need to use the hook size that correlates with that yarn weight. So this is the yarn that I'm using today, and then you're going to need a darn needle to sew in your project once you're done with it, and then some scissors. Now to begin, what you're going to do is you're going to grab your working yarn and you're going to make a slip knot. Now to make a slip knot, you're just going to put the yarn at the base of your hand, and then you're going to wrap it around your finger twice. You're going to grab the back loop and bring it up and over. Then you're going to grab the new back loop and bring it up and over and off your finger. Then you're going to tighten it using so this is the short strand. You're going to tighten it using the long strand that's from your yarn. And now you're going to chain a multiple of 4, and then at the end we'll add 5 to that. So chain however many you want, as long as it's multiple of 4. So 4, 8, 12, just anything like that. I'm going to chain, let's see. I'm going to chain 16 to begin. So I'm just going to go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. And I might actually do a little more. So I'm going to go to 24. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. Okay, so now that we have a chain of 24, which is a multiple of 4, now you're just going to chain 5 at the end of that. So you're going to chain 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now you're going to begin by making a double crochet in the 3rd chain from hook. So I want to put this little caveat in there in the video that I personally don't count my chains as double crochets. Now I know that's different from some designers, and so I just want to mention that so that you're aware of that and you know that. So I don't count it as a chain. Now if you were to count it as a chain, you would normally use 3 chains, but this is just how I do it. So I'm going to yarn over and insert into the 3rd chain from hook. The loop on your hook does not count as a chain. You're going to skip the 1st chain and the 2nd chain and then insert into the 3rd chain from hook, and you're going to make a double crochet. And now you're going to skip 2 chains and then insert into the 3rd chain. But first you're going to chain 1, and then you're going to insert into the 3rd chain. So right there, that hole where we went into, that does not count. So you're going to skip that one because you just worked into it. So 1, 2, and then into the 3rd chain. You're going to make 3 double crochets. So that is kind of the granny cluster thing. So that is what it should look like. So now you have 3 double crochets there. Now you're going to chain 1 and you're going to skip 3 chains and insert into the 4th chain. So skip 1, 2, and 3 chains. Then you're going to insert into the 4th chain and you're going to do 3 double crochets into that 4th chain. So this is what it should look like now. You can see it's kind of starting to look like the granny stitch. And so now you're just going to keep doing that across. So you're going to chain 1, skip 3 chains and insert your hook into the 4th chain. And then you're going to, at the end of the row, you should have 3 chains left, and I'll meet you back there. Alright, so we just finished row number 1, and as you can see, I have 3 chains left. So 1, 2, and there's this 3rd one right there. You can't see it very well, but it's there. And so I'm just going to chain 1 like we always do. So after every single like granny cluster or just double crochet, you chain 1. So it's kind of the standard for granny squares. So you're going to chain 1, you're going to skip 2 chains, and then you're going to insert your hook into the 3rd chain. And I managed to make my first chain rather small, so it might be a little challenge for me to get into it. So now I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2, and pull through 2. So you made a double crochet into the last chain. So now we have, as you can see, a double crochet, chain 1, and then your clusters. And this is how it should look at the end of row number 1. And so now for row number 2, you're going to chain 2 and turn your work. And you're going to begin by making 3 double crochets into this chain first space right there where my finger is. So you're going to make 3 double crochets right into there. 1, 2, and 3. And now you're going to chain 1, skip this whole cluster thing, and you're going to work into the next space right here. So right where my finger is. So you're going to do 3 double crochets into that space. Whoops. So you're going to do 3 double crochets into there. And that's basically exactly what you're going to do for this whole row. So you're going to chain 1 once again. You're going to skip this cluster, and you're going to go into the next chain space, and you're going to do 3 double crochets. So basically 3 double crochets and then chain 1, and that is your repeat. So now chain 1 and then double crochet 3 into next. Now I'm going to meet you back once I get to this side, and I'll show you a little tip to keep your edges straight as you are going up your granny square. Okie dokie, so as you can see, this is the last chain space. So there's our double crochet and then our chain space right there. So now what you're going to do is you did the chain 1 after your 3 double crochets into the last one. And now you're going to double crochet 2 into that chain space. And then what you're going to do is you're going to double crochet 1 into that last or first double crochet of row 1. So you're just going to double crochet 1 into there, just to make a nice neat edge. So now look how nice and neat your edges are, and I just like that because it just, whenever you're doing anything, you just like it to look nice. So that is what my little tip is. And then on this side, if you remember, we kind of had already done that because of the chain. It just naturally makes that. So that is what it should look like for row number 2. Now for row number 3, you're basically just going to repeat what you did for row number 1. So you're going to chain 2 and turn your work, and you're going to make a double crochet into the very first stitch. So right there. And remember, the way I like to write my patterns, I don't have the chain does not count as a stitch. So you're going to insert into the first stitch and make a double crochet. You're going to chain 1. I just feel like, personally, I don't like having my chains count as a stitch because I feel like it makes it just look more, there be more gaps, and I just don't like that. So I like to make it look as neat as possible, and so that's why I like to not have my chains count as stitch for turning chains. So we just did a double crochet. Now we just chained 1, and now I'm going to double crochet. Now I'm just going to do a normal cluster into here. So I'm going to do 3 double crochets into this spot, and then of course a chain 1 at the end. And you're just going to do this across. So you're going to chain 1 and then 3 double crochets across, and then I'll meet you back and show you what I do on this side, but it's basically the same as this side. So I'll meet you back at the end of row 3. All right, so as you can see, we did our last cluster, and now I'm going to chain 1, and you can see here is our last cluster of the previous row. So now what you're going to do is you're just going to double crochet into the very last double crochet possible. So there's 1, 2, and 3. You're going to double crochet into the third from hook, third double crochet from hook, and you're just going to make a double crochet. And so now this is what it looks like. Now for row number 4, you're just going to repeat row number 2. So we did for row number 2 just and exactly this, and then for row number 5 you're going to repeat what we just did for row number 3. So you're just going to repeat rows number 2 and 3 throughout your whole blanket or whatever you're making with this. So that is the super simple granny stitch. Now I wanted to give you guys just a little bonus tip, and that is if you're wanting to decrease or increase your size. So like, let's say you want to make something kind of roundish, I'm going to show you how to increase and decrease using the granny stitch. So to do that, you're just going to begin like you normally would. So chain 2, turn your work, and then you're going to just work across like you normally would. So I'm going to do my 3 double crochets like I normally would, and then chain 1, 3 more double crochets, then chain 1, 3 more double crochets, and now let's say I'm about in the middle of my project, and now on this one I want to do an increase. And you could do this at the edges too. I'm just not for this example, but you could sure do that at the edges too. So what you're going to do is you're going to do your 3 like you normally would, 3 double crochets, and then you're going to chain 1, but instead of normally skipping to the next chain space, you're going to work 3 more double crochets into that exact same spot. So you're going to work 3 more double crochets into that exact same spot on your granny stitch, and there is your little increase. And so then when you're working back, you just would work into it like any other chain space. So you would work into that middle, and then you'd have 1 more granny stitch. I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to meet you back. I'll meet you back on the next row, and I'll just show you how to work into that. So meet you back. Okay, so as you can see, we just we finished that row. Now we started the next row, and I just came across the increase. And so what you're going to do, so you can see there's 6 stitches where there normally be 3 stitches, and you're just going to do exactly what you did for all the other stitches. So I did my 3 double crochets, my chain 1, and now I'm going to insert into the middle of that increase where we did that chain 1, that chain 1, and now I'm going to just do 3 double crochets right into the middle of it. So there you go. So that is how you do an increase in your project. So if you wanted to, for some reason, do an increase in your granny stitch, that's exactly how you would do it. Okay, now I also wanted to show you, as an extra bonus tip, I wanted to show you how to decrease in with the granny stitch. So to do that, all you do, I'm just going to pretend it's right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1 like we normally would. We're going to do 2 double crochets into this chain space. So right there. And then you're going to not chain 1. You're not going to chain 1. Then you're going to do 1 double crochet into the next chain space. So basically you just combine the 2. And you could do that once again at the edges if you wanted to, or you can do that in the middle of your project. So now I'm going to chain 1 like I normally would, and you're just going to, when you come back, you're not going to want to work in the middle, you're just going to work on the edges. So it's the same 3 cluster. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I'll meet you back once I have finished this row, and then I'll show you how that looks on the next row. Alright, so as you can see, we're on the next row, and I'm just going to work into this one like we normally would, because this is a normal stitch, or space, whatever you want to call it. Okay, and now here you can see is the 2 stitches and then the 1 double crochet. There you can see it right there. And so now what you're going to do is you're going to chain 1 and you're going to skip that space even though you didn't chain 1. So you're just going to basically work it like it would be a normal cluster. And then you're going to do 3 double crochets into the following, and into the next chain space. So basically, whenever you do a decrease or increase, you just want to make sure you're always working on the next row, you're always working into the chain spaces. So if you do an increase, you do a chain space between, and then you work into that. And then if you do a decrease, you do not do a chain space and you basically skip. So that is what it should look like. And you can see there was our decrease right there. And it's a pretty seamless decrease that you really wouldn't see unless you're looking really hard. So I hope you enjoyed this, and yeah. Okay, so as you can see, we have finished up my little swatch. And I just wanted to come back and show you that how straight the edges are. And I really believe that is because of doing the double crochets at the end and doing only chain 2 instead of chaining 3. And I just love how flat and straight they are. So this is what it looks like. I'm absolutely in love with this stitch, and so I would love to hear in the comments down below what you're using this for. Thank you so much for making this super fun crochet granny square along with me. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give this video a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I would love to hear from you, so please comment down below and tell me what yarn you're using and what project you're making this granny stitch for. I just love hearing from you. It always makes my day. And so thank you so much for watching this video again, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!